So obviously this is a big spot for you. You haven't had a UFC headliner. It's kind of been a slow build for you. You debuted in the UFC. You were 21. You're
Yeah.
28 now. Are you happy with the pace that your career kind of built up to this moment?
Um, if you asked me a few years ago, I would have said no. But I'm quite happy with how it's going at the minute and the position I'm in. So yeah, I think it all happens for a reason, and it's working out. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
Were you getting a little restless a few years ago? I mean, obviously you're no, you're still a young guy. You were younger then. Was it kind of just
Yeah.
like where am I? When's my opportunity?
Yeah, like I mean, previous to the UFC, I think there was a year I had 6 fights in a year, and I like to fight. I like to be active, and but yeah, since the UFC, it's kind of been one, maybe two if I'm lucky. So yeah, it's yeah, it is frustrating, but like I say, it all happens for a reason, I guess.
Right. You must be liking the fact that you're getting two this year. I think the last time you did it was I want to say 2018 or something. It was a few years ago that you had it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
I mean,
think
are
so.
you liking the chance to get the two paychecks this year?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and just it's the opportunity I want against the guy I want to fight. He's number 5 in the world for a reason, and I want to put myself in that elite sort of caliber.
How long have you had your eyes on Cater in particular? Because obviously there's a bunch of names that kind of float around, but he's been up at the top for now a couple of years.
Yeah, um, once I got into the rankings, it was sort of I was around the rankings, sort of same sort of spot, and then the only reason I asked for it for this fight was just 'cause he was above me, like he was a one above me, and it was kind of the one that made the most sense.
Now, how are you guys? Like, I don't know if you've interacted over the years or anything like that, but I mean, is everything okay with you guys, or is this, just another fight? What's going on? What's with you guys?
Yeah, I don't think of it. No, I never spoke to him personally, so I don't think I've ever had an interaction with him. So yeah, nothing positive or negative.
What about your thoughts on just from afar watching his career? He's had some like incredible fights. He's
Yeah,
he's always in these kind of like barn burner fights. What do you think of his style?
yeah. That was one of the reasons I like the fight is I like his style. He's fun to watch. He's predominantly a sort of stand-up fighter, more of a boxer, and kind of similar to myself. He uses more elbows than I do, but yeah, that's what I like about it. Kind of two stand-up guys, more boxers, and it's sort of clash of styles that should make for a good fight.
He's coming off of that loss to Josh Emmett. A lot of people thought that, maybe he deserved the decision. Do you have any thoughts on kind of the way that went? Did you have a feeling on who really should have won that fight or?
Yeah, I thought it was a close fight, but yeah, I did feel like he won it. Calvin won it, but yeah, I didn't feel like it was a robbery. It was real close.
Now, you stopped Dan Hooker earlier this year. Half a round. I mean, back in March. This is
Yeah.
easily your biggest win to date and your first finish in many years. Do you feel like maybe your striking power is kind of improved now, or are we just kind of seeing the fruits of the labor like really manifest with this knockout?
No, it's definitely improved, but I mean, it's more the styles of the opponents I've been fighting. Kind of more. I've been getting stuck in sort of like a counter wrestler sort of thing. Trying to avoid getting taken down. Can't let my hands go as much. So when you get someone you know is going to stand with you and not really looking to wrestle with you, it's a bit nicer. You don't have that threat. You just focus on the striking a bit more.
And obviously, you're saying that you believe that'll be the case here with Cater. But I mean, what's kind of the greatest challenge that you think Calvin Cater presents to you in the cage?
Probably his experience. He's a veteran. He's done more 5 rounders obviously than me. He's been in there more than me. He's fought elite competition, but you know, there's a plus and a negative because obviously it comes with all the damage of competing against those elite guys in those long fights.
Now, if you win this, I believe this is 10 in a row for you if you win this fight, right? In the UFC in
Yeah.
particular. 10 and 0 in the UFC is a big deal. It kind of starts to draw a
Mm.
little more attention to you. And the field at featherweight's pretty wide open, to maybe get that next title shot whenever Volkanovski defends again. Do you feel like this is like the winner
Yeah.
of this fight ought to get the championship opportunity?
I mean, yeah. If you especially considering the razor thin decision, Emmett got over Calvin, controversial, and then they're putting him in for an interim, possibly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this should be it, really.
Now, unfortunate news, of course, last month, the world lost Elias Theodoro. He passed away with battle with cancer. You two had trained together, correct, at
Yeah,
Tristar? Do you have any
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
favorite memories or anything you'd like to share about Elias? Just to kind of let people know what he
yeah,
meant to you.
yeah. Yeah. I wasn't, I wouldn't say we were best friends or anything, but we're definitely a friend. Um, he's one of those guys. He was always like annoying because he was always happy. Whatever was going on, he's always smiling. You'd be stressed out, you'd see him, and he'd always be the same happy guy. Like never. He was never down. It was like annoyingly happy. But I went out partying with him once, and he's a crazy guy. He was a crazy guy, a fun guy to be around. He was never in a bad mood, never negative. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you're middle of the camp, and everyone's sort of stressed out, feeling the burn, sort of thing, and he's just sort of still smiling, happy, didn't care. Always a happy guy.
Now, kind of get back to here. I'm curious about going all the way back in your life.
Hmm.
What's your first experience watching mixed martial arts? Do you remember?
Yeah. So my dad actually, my dad competed in MMA, and he used to have the old like all the DVDs, the UFC ones, all the originals. And so he before he fought, we was watching those, and he was a fan. And then we started watching those fights. I can't remember who the first one was, but I do remember one of my first coaches gave me it was a DVD of Aldo. It was Aldo in the fights he had in Brazil. I can't remember the Vale Tudo fights and the short shorts and all that. When he was soccer kicking everyone, that was kind of my introduction to MMA.
And
Yeah,
ironic because that would be your weight class too, 45.
yeah. That's probably one of my favorite fighters. Watching him grow up that was the guy.
Now, I'm curious too. What is your typical walk around weight between fights? Because nobody walks around at 45, obviously.
um, I don't know in pounds. Maybe
You can
190. I think.
whatever's
Is that
easier
right? Yeah.
conversion for you.
Yeah, like 84 kilo, 84, 5 kilo.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about like on a typical fight night? What do you tend to get to the cage at?
Not that heavy. I don't know. Yeah.
Now, when you're done with your weight cut, you go to food. You finally get your meal. What are you going for?
Yeah. It's always pretty boring after the weight cut. Like, so usually start off with some like baby snacks to build my stomach back. And then yeah, like chicken and potatoes is boring until after the fight. And then it's burgers and pizza.
Okay, there you go. There, post fight. That's even more interesting, right?
Yeah.
What
And I
what?
always like Mexican food too, burritos.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can't eat that before the fight.
Yeah,
That won't
yeah.
go well.
No, no, no.
What's the favorite fight of yours from, let's say, pre UFC days?
Oh, pre-UFC days.
Yes.
Probably my professional debut. It was kind of it was a bit of a I thought a guy was a highly touted prospect in my first fight, and everyone sort of thought I was going to lose it. Everyone said I was going to lose it, and yeah, I come out with a knockout win, and after like a shaky first round, back and forward. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite pre-UFC memories.
How did that first experience, how did that compare with what you thought it was going to be when you got in there?
Um, Yeah, like it was the first time because before that I'd fought in front of like 100 people. That was at like an arena, not arena, but like a big stand. It had like 1,000 people there, and yeah, it was a bit. If I looked up and I just see all the faces, I was like, "Oh, this is a bit different." But yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Now, I bet you I could guess the answer, but I'll ask you any. Who in MMA do you most admire?
Ooh, who do I most? Yeah, George St-Pierre.
Oh, okay. I thought you might even say your father.
Yeah, he's over there. As like a fighter, George St-Pierre for
Oh,
me.
sure.
Yeah.
And,
Sorry, Dad.
yeah, it's all right. You slighted your father. No worries. I'm sure he still loves you. Then last question too is, what is the coolest technique in combat sports?
Um, Coolest technique in combat sports.
Could be something you do, or maybe someone else does. Does anything you think is cool?
A jumping knee. Aldo's jumping knee.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Arnold, like I said, I'll let you go. Best of luck this weekend. I hope we get to
Okay.
talk again soon.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.